Hello everyone, and welcome to my Dragon Ball Super Episode 102 review. For my review, I will talk about the following categories. Enjoy the video. So what I liked about this episode was number 17 and his fight with the Beast Magical Girl, Kakunsa. Number 17 was also the voice of reason in this episode, doing what should be common sense. Like interrupting transformations instead of just standing there like how everybody usually does in this series. And on top of that, he was targeting opponents who he should be targeting first, such as the Flyer. It makes me sad to think though that number 17 probably won't be involved in Super anymore after this arc, and for that, I'm at least glad he is getting so much shine right now. The humor in this episode was also my cup of tea, personally. Since the episode was doing all the tropes of the magical girl genre, and not only making fun of those tropes, but Dragon Ball making fun of itself, I had a lot of fun watching this episode because of that. So on to what I did not like. Goku fighting in his base form again. I've gone into why it bugs me, but I'll do it again. Through training in the Room of Spirit and Time in the Cell arc, Goku made it to where Super Saiyan doesn't have any drawbacks, and basically meant that he could use Super Saiyan as effectively as if it were his base. I know this was retconned back in the Universe 6 tournament, but it's still stupid and it bothers me. And that's all that really bothered me about this episode. I'm sure those who watched my last two reviews are surprised I don't have a long rant for this one. I don't, because I actually like this one a lot. So for the story and pacing, this was all about Universe 2, and from what I have seen, this episode is a hit for those who like the magical girl genre, and a miss for those who don't really watch it or don't like it. The pacing, this is where I understand people's problems with this episode, because one trope about magical girl anime is how the transformation sequences are long, drawn out, and are used every single episode. And the transformations usually end with some kind of catchphrases that the magical girls say. But for me, since I like Sailor Moon and I understand what the magical girl genre is all about, I didn't have any problems with the pacing. So for the visuals and audio, this episode was all about the visuals, and I enjoyed what I saw. The transformations of the three girls themselves were very conventional looking, but the forms, not so much. It did at least add to the comedy of this episode seeing these goofy looking magical girls interact with the cast, such as the scene where Vegeta was cringing at the thought of hitting Ribrianne. The only looped scene which really got annoying for me was seeing the God of Destruction of Universe 2 do this pose over and over and over. It must have been like 6 times. But the soundtrack in this episode was great, and the music that played during the transformations was the best in this episode, and a very fitting track placement. So for the character utilization, with number 17, I loved him in this episode, and there isn't really much more I can say that hasn't already been said in other reviews. The magical girls themselves are alright as far as magical girls go. They aren't super memorable, but I did enjoy seeing their techniques and what they were all about. And one last thing I realized during this episode, Puar has officially contributed more than Yamcha in Dragon Ball Super, and that's a little bit sad to think about. But on to my overall rating. I will give this episode a 3.5 out of 5. I would have to say that this is the first episode since the Tournament of Power began where I didn't have a big problem with it. Aside from the whole thing of Goku not transforming, a reoccurring problem at this point, there wasn't really any point in the episode where I was like, this is bullshit, or this makes no sense. This was a polarizing episode for sure. The amount of people who liked or disliked it seemed to correlate with how much the person likes and understands the tropes in the magical girl genre. I have actually recently started rewatching Sailor Moon again, so I was fully prepared for what this episode was going to bring. Next week though, It looks like Ribrianne is going to unleash her fury and rage upon number 17. Also, it looks like Gohan and Piccolo are going to get the spotlight. And Botamo, but no Vegeta. I'm going to make a prediction. Vegeta is going to get ringed out by someone making a rude gesture at him. Botamo may be blocking Vegeta's ears to not hear insults, but Vegeta's eyes are wide open. If only Dragon Ball Super could get away with someone flipping the bird, it would be a great way to have a throwback to this scene. But those have been my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super episode 102 and the next episode preview for 103. Let me know what you thought of the episode and what your predictions are for the next one in the comments section below. And with that, thank you for watching everyone, and have a great day.